So I've seen a couple people in my comment sections asking me how do I pixelate my stuff for when I do like the fake screenshots for the, ENA styled screenshots or my little animation I posted the other day. And I am going to show you guys how to do this. I use Blender to do this, but it's not too complicated as long as you follow the steps. So what we're going to do is we are going to open we're going to click new, and we're just going to do 2D animation because it's just better this way. It just makes things less cluttered, but don't worry about this. Then you're going to go to the compositing tab. Now, the first thing you're going to do is you're going to want to check use nodes because then, well, we actually can use this here. We're going to go ahead and go on this render layers one, and we're just going to get rid of that one. We don't need that. So keep this one for later. It's still going to be useful. So the first thing we're going to do is you're going to do, by the way that you add stuff is you're going to press Shift A to do this, and then all your stuff will be here. So the first one we're going to do is go to Input and then Image. So there you go. This is going to be where you are actually going to put in the image you want to pixelate. Now, all you're going to do, I'm just going to use an animation file from the thing I made the other day. So there we go. We're just going to use this. And by the way, you can do this to a full animation as well too, but the way that you're going to do that is you're going to go down here where it says single image after you've imported a single image. And then you can actually change this to say image sequence, then you can choose the amount of frames that's going to be. So that is that's how you do it for an animation. I'm just going to stick with doing a single image today just to make it a little easier. Now what you're going to do first now is you are going to Shift A and input another one. You can go to search here because that's what I do, and you're going to look up scale. So there you go, and then you are going to attach this to your image file, and then what we're going to do now is we are going to do Shift A again, go to value, and this will just simply act as a slider. You just have to drag these little nodes here to the X and Y down here. That's just going to make sure that your image has the same aspect ratio throughout the whole thing, so that way it doesn't get squashed or stretched or look off proportion. Then the next thing we're going to do is you're just going to look up Pixelate in here, put this right here, and connect it to this. Now here's the fun part. Then you are going to look up Viewer, simply just click Viewer, and put their image on there. So now you can just, drag the little pixelate thing to Viewer. So now we can actually see our image here. By the way, if you want to zoom in or out, so press V on your keyboard to zoom out, press Alt V on your keyboard to zoom in. So there you go. Now you can actually see your image back here. And the next thing we're going to do is we are going to Shift A again. We're just going to do the same thing we did for the scale. So we're going to do another scale one. You're just going to simply drag here, connect another one to that. And then you are going to just do the same thing, get another value one, and there you are. This ensures that when you actually, because when we're pixelating our image, we're basically going to be making the image smaller in a sense. It almost compresses it. So when you do this, I would say put it at about like 2 or 3 here in this value one. And now I can actually zoom in, and we can see that my image is now pixelated, but the only problem is if you don't have this here, the image actually will appear smaller. You're going to want it to probably stay this same value right here. That way your image looks normal, doesn't look like it's been shrunken. Then you also want to drag this scale one here to the compositor so it actually will do what you want it to do. Now what we're going to do is pretty much all done now. You're just going to go to render image, and as you can see, I didn't do my calculations quite right, but we could do another one. We could also make the value of the image bigger. Let's try that. So you're gonna kind of have to fiddle with it until you get to a point where you like the way your image is looking, So this looks pretty good. I would say this is passable. The settings I have it at here right now is 3 and 7. So that could work for you. It could also not work for you. It depends. I think you kind of just have to mess with these values until you get something that you're happy with. And I mean, that probably looks the best. So you could maybe go with my values of just 0.2 and 1 here. You know, anything that you want to do will probably, it's just kind of a lot of trial and error, to be honest, but that is the general way I do this sort of thing, and I would recommend saving this Blender project and just saving it as like Pixelate or something. That way you know you can always come back here and just plug in new drawings to this, so you don't have to set up this whole thing again. You'll never have to do this again. You can just plug in whatever image you want into it and it will pixelate it for you.